Good morning, everybody. It is Monday and it is time for the Business Boost. I hope everybody is doing well in this summer, end of summer, in this heat and this time where we can spend some time with our family and have all this great times before school starts again. We seem to be dealing with a lot of this transition, and it's good to check in every once in a while and good to just think about some of these things about how we can handle some of these stresses during this time. That's what I'm going to talk about today. For those of you who don't know me, my name's Shelby Long Hammond. I'm a business coach. I'm a professor in organizational behavior, and I'm all about helping small businesses, entrepreneurs, existing organizations function better, be more productive. A lot of this has to do with how we manage our business culture, how we manage our communication, and I just like to give a few tips at the beginning of every week just to get things started and to get you thinking about how to operate your business differently. As I said in the beginning, we live in a time of infinite transition with the pandemic and with the closing of schools, and now we have summer, and now we're going back to school. Some people are keeping their kids at home and working remotely. You know, if you're a parent, like I'm a parent, I have two small kids, one starting kindergarten, one going into the second grade. And it's a big stress. It's created a lot of stress in our family to try to figure out how we're going to manage myself working, my husband working, my kids going to school, and I imagine and business and keeping your business operating. So we all deal with stresses, and we have different stresses going on, and it's important to think about how we manage this stress during this time, not only for us, but how we manage this stress in the communication with our customers. I read this great article earlier today at the Harvard Business Review, and it talked about how to maintain our mental stability during times of transitions, talking particularly about the pandemic and what the pandemic has created this additional stress on the business culture. So we're not only stressed about money, we're stressed about whether we should go to work, whether we're going to get sick at work, whether we should wear a mask, whatever thing that we have to be able to have this change and this stress that happens. And I thought that there gave some really interesting tips about how to manage it. And as an organization, if we're a manager of a larger business, above 10 people or below 10 people, or we work with other people, or we're solo entrepreneurs, it's important to remember that we're all in the same place. Whether you're working in business or whether you're talking to your customers, your clients, whether you work business to business or whatever, we just need to remember some things about our interactions and our communication. I really like the phrase that we talk about how we need a strong business culture, and we need to have this strength as we're moving forward in our business culture, strong mission, vision, core values, all those things. But I really like the idea of thinking about our interaction and our communication with our customers and our employees and coworkers with a culture of connection, because that's what we're all yearning for right now, is a connection with other people. This social distancing has pushed us further apart, and yes, we can have virtual Zoom calls and do all of our business virtually, but it's created this separation. So we're all yearning for this connection. So how do we develop a culture of connection in our business? Whether we're promoting our business, talking to clients and customers, or whether we're an internal communication, a really important piece of advice is to be able to understand or remember that the communication process is not just sending information. You're not marketing or advertising material. You're not shouting out the information. That there's the process and the transaction of communication is what's important, which means having an open dialogue for feedback and have check-ins every once in a while. The whole idea is that the more communication that we have, the better situation we're going to be in. Because there's so much going on behind closed doors, the strategy of how we're going to handle it, especially management, upper management, the strategy of how you're going to handle everything, but having an open dialogue, having an open communication with your employees and even with your customers about how you're managing the transition is a critical way that we can help enhance that trust that we have with our employees, help enhance that trust that we have with our potential clients. All of that is going to set the stage for a better connection and a better human connection. And that is what it really helps out. So remember that communication is a transaction, not just a one-way street. Check in and follow up. And the idea of communicating more is better than communicating less, because you don't want to leave your customers. You also don't want to leave your other employees and coworkers in the dark about anything, because then that breeds resentment and they think about things and whatever. You don't want to have that be a problem. The second tip that I want to talk about today is the idea about being vulnerable and being flexible. And they're two different things, but they're really connected together. So being vulnerable as a leader, as a solo entrepreneur or a manager, whatever your title is, being a leader is being able to connect with people and being able to recognize that, hey, I have empathy. I understand what you're going through, and to be able to be flexible if somebody needs to change their plans or your client needs to change their payment method or whatever that is, to make sure that there is not only the empathetic side of being vulnerable and understanding where your client or your coworker is at, but also being able to be flexible to help mediate those things and fix those problems. Those are some key things to think about when we think about how we operate our business. So the being vulnerable is not only it's okay for us to understand, and it's okay for us to talk about those additional stresses, because if we don't talk about those additional stresses in our life, then they're just going to build up and they're going to affect our interactions at work and at home. So the more interaction, the more communication, the more vulnerability and flexibility, the better. We've all pivoted our businesses in multiple ways in these past couple months because of the economic crisis. So now it's time to do that again as we begin to transition and go back into school and manage our kids at home, whatever that is. These transitions, we need to have flexibility. We also need to be vulnerable and understand that and realize that. Finally, to talk about this culture of connection, inclusivity is kind of a buzzword when it comes to organizational business culture, but it is really important to think about at this time. People are under a lot of stress, and people have additional things going on, whether it's with their family or they're at home or their virtual environment, or they're stressed about their mortgage being paid, they don't have enough clients. So all of these things are mixing together. But as business owners and as employees and having transactions, constant communication transactions, just being more inclusive in your communication, being vulnerable in your communication, and having some empathy and understanding that we're all at the same place. So operate with a culture of connection. The culture of connection will help you. This culture of connection will help you easier identify with clients. It will help you develop trust, and so you can engage in a transaction. That trust is critical at this time because of the social distancing. We're craving this human communication. How do we build trust? By being inclusive, following up with our communication, having flexibility, being sure that we're taking care of our own mental pivots as well as our clients and our employees. So I hope you all have a great Monday. I invite you to participate, if you haven't participated, in the Thriving Entrepreneur Mastermind that happens every Thursday. I always promote that here, so you can have the link to that. Come check it out. If you are interested, I would love to step on a strategy call with you and talk about how we can create this culture of connection in your business, and how this culture of connection can help you gain more clients and help you have stability and predictability in your business. That's what we need. So I hope you have a great week, and I hope you stay cool, and I'll see you again next week. So I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.